Welcome back to Tipton Bros. Today, we'll be discussing the German Messerschmitt Me-309. Before we begin, I must disclose that I am no expert and never claim to be. Now, let's get into it. By early 1940, German aircraft manufacturers were rushing to supply the Luftwaffe in their unceasing push to the west. The Bf-109 was the face of air superiority in the Third Reich, and a formidable fighter with unmatched performance. The Battle of Britain kicked off in July of that same year, and the Supermarine Spitfire, coupled with the Hawker Hurricane, would give the Bf-109 all it could handle. While the Messerschmitt platform was robust, engineers recognized the need for an eventual replacement, or at least a substantial upgrade. This realization sparked the Me-309 project. Messerschmitt would approach the Reich Ministry of Aviation with the proposal, being abruptly turned away. RLM officials were content with the direction of the war and deemed the task of low priority. This lack of foresight frustrated Messerschmitt, but the design team moved forward with development in hopes of creating a suitable alternative to the Bf-109. Placed on the back burner, the plans for the Me-309 would not materialize until late 1941. The fighter utilized multiple distinct features, including a retractable tricycle landing gear. The primary legs, located under each wing, folded inward towards the center line, while the nose strut performed a 90-degree rotation prior to seating flush beneath the engine compartment. This layout strays drastically from the ubiquitous tail-dragger configuration of the day. The Me-309 also employs a large ventral radiator and pressurized cockpit. Each of these elements was trialed on a Bf-109F model airframe to confirm their viability and conserve material. All went to plan, and the first prototype Me-309 fighter was constructed, although not until spring of 1942 due to lackluster government backing. Mechanical issues concerning the complex retraction of the nose gear also hampered its debut. July 18, 1942, the aircraft would take to the skies, displaying superb handling and marginally better speed than the Bf-109G at the time. Assessment of the Me-309 was done under light testing loads, which artificially inflated performance numbers. Armament was equipped in the subsequent flight trial, and speed plummeted to an unacceptable degree. This poor showing left a sour taste in the mouth of the Reich Ministry of Aviation, who was already dubious of the Me-309's relevance. This failure under scrutiny proved to be the final nail in the coffin. Wartime stress became a tightening vice grip on the Luftwaffe, and side projects had no place in the material-starved Third Reich. The Bf-109 and Focke-Wulf 190 were established platforms that took precedence over an experimental one, and so the program was cancelled altogether. Despite its early collapse, the Me-309 was ingeniously crafted and has a specific characteristic I'd like to highlight. What jumped out to me was its striking resemblance to the P-51 Mustang. This is due to the ventral radiator, giving both aircraft a potbelly and/or barrel-chested appearance. The positioning of the system on the Me-309 is slightly forward of the wing roots, while the scoop of the P-51 is aft of the wing roots. Still, the similarity is evident. The engine compartment, exhaust, and spinner which covers the propeller hub is also eerily reminiscent of the Mustang. Before we wrap up, let's cover the specifications for the Messerschmitt Me-309, and for curiosity's sake, I'll throw up the corresponding numbers for the P-51D Mustang. The German fighter had a top speed of 455 miles per hour, with a service ceiling of 39,000 feet. The power plant was a single Daimler-Benz DB603G series, an inverted 12-cylinder, liquid-cooled inline piston engine, producing 1,726 horsepower. This drove a 3-bladed propeller assembly. The Me-309 had a crew of 1, with a range of 680 miles, or 590 nautical miles. Length was 31 feet. Height was 12 feet 10 inches, and overall wingspan was 36 feet 3 inches. Gross weight tips the scales at 9,370 pounds, while empty weight resides at 7,782 pounds. Lastly, armament. The ME-309 utilized two 20mm MG-151-20 autocannons mounted behind the spinner assembly, and two 13mm MG-131 machine guns secured at the base of the wing roots. Information regarding armament layout was murky, so any further clarification would be helpful. The four completed ME-309 prototypes were likely parted out or scrapped before war's end, leaving no surviving examples. We hope you have enjoyed today's brief overview of the German ME-309 fighter, the intended replacement for the Bf-109 and mirror image of the P-51 Mustang. We are a small channel, so a like is greatly appreciated, and recommendations are always welcome. Again, I am no expert and never claim to be. Until next time on Tipton Bros.